Let's get started. We're here today to talk about foundation visual art and design. And here at VFS, we are all storytellers. And every great story begins with a question, begins with why? Why am I here talking to you today? Because a lot of years ago, I'm not going to say exactly how many, when I was a teenager, I wrote a play. And that play that I wrote, I submitted it to a theater company, and that theater company chose that play to be produced. And that play or workshopped in a teen writing festival. And I was bit with a bug where this need, this desire to create, to perform came to life inside of me, and people saw potential in me, and people championed me along my way, encouraged me, supported me, taught me, mentored me, and I was able to start a career, and that career brought me here to where I am today. You also have a story to tell. Your story may not be written yet, and that story might actually be starting today with you deciding that you want to and are willing to pursue a creative career. And that career can be in anything as a creative person. And the foundation program is a great place to start that. Take a look at this slide. On this slide, you see a lot of familiar titles. You see movies you recognize, you see games you recognize. What these are projects that VFS alumni, people who came to a session like this many years ago, went to VFS, and then worked on these projects. You've got directors, writers, actresses. You have people who did visual effects for projects like The Mandalorian and Game of Thrones. You have people who did work for sound. It's an incredible, the opportunities are endless. Okay. And some of those people who worked on some of those projects got nominated and contributed to projects that got nominated for the highest prestige that there is, awards like the Oscars, Golden Globes. So we kind of jumped ahead of ourselves because we saw this is what you want. This is maybe your dream, to work on a project that could be recognized as the best in its field. But how? How do you get started? Where do we start? Okay. So the challenge is how. And for a lot of you, this starts in the Foundation Visual Art and Design program. Program designed for students who need to start from big ideas and raw talent, but maybe have nothing more. Maybe you know you need a portfolio, but you don't know how to build it. Maybe you know you want to work in games, but you can't tell if you're a designer, a level designer, an artist, or a programmer. Maybe you think you could be any of those. The foundation program is the kind of program that helps people build the core skills, build the portfolio, and identify their path. So in this program, we will help you explore your creative potential, build your portfolio, and learn the roles of the professional artist. Learn to take what's a hobby and make it into a profession. The program is 12 months over 6 terms, so 6 2-month terms, about 8 weeks each, 3 specializations at the end, and all of that is one life-changing experience. In term 1, we teach very foundational, fundamental skills. We teach color theory, documentary narratives, photography, drawing and 2D composition, graphic design tools, and visual communication principles. Term 2, we take those skills and we start to build on them in ways by teaching you more theory and more of an understanding how audiences interact with what you do. We teach graphic design packages, storytelling and narrative devices. We talk about psychology and art and how art affects audiences. You add depth and volume to your drawings. You're doing logo layout design, and you learn the importance of video editing on how it shapes and changes the story after the story's been filmed. Term three is a very technical heavy term. There's a lot of courses. It's kind of like the the gauntlet, the boot camp of the program. It's probably the most work with the most projects, but at that same time, that's where you're learning your project management and your time management skills to balance all of this work. You do a 4-second hand-drawn animation. 4 seconds doesn't sound like a long time, but if you think about it, hand-drawn animation means 24 drawings per second times 4 seconds is 96 drawings. So you're doing 96 drawings to make something move. You're doing lighting, camera, and sound essentials. You're taking your drawing skills and escalating them to life drawing. You've got production management. So now you're learning what it's like to be a producer, how to produce a project, 3D modeling using Maya, screenwriting, website and app design. So now you're taking some of your branding and design work you did in the previous term and learning how to make it into an interactive experience. And motion graphics design, taking those simple graphics you did the previous term and learning how to use keyframe animation to make them move. Term 4, you're going further and deeper in your lighting and camera with lighting and camera workshops. You have a 13-shot short film. So you're going to have written a script in the previous term. Some of the scripts that were written in the previous term are going to actually be made into short films. You work in teams to shoot a 13-shot short film. We call it the Freaky 13. We call it that because very often students like to experiment with genre like horror or thriller or suspense in this project. You're learning digital animation. So before you did hand-drawn animation, now you're doing digital. You are writing a short script for a final project that you're going to work on for the last half of the program. You're going to practice and develop a pitch of that final project that you were going to pitch to myself and the other mentors that will help you with that project as you move it along. And there is an art exhibition project that you are going to work on and create entirely on your own. So you're going to come up with the idea, the reason, you're going to source out the materials, you're going to build it, and then it's going to go on our online gallery site, which is linked right here, called seeitforyourself.ca. And it also goes live on the wall in an art gallery experience that students, staff, and other people are invited to come and experience your work live in person. We also, at the end of term 4, help you pick a stream. There are 3 different streams in the foundation program. There's a film stream, an animation stream, and a design stream. Each of these streams is designed to give you advanced curriculum and support you as you build that final portfolio piece that's going to be that extra strong piece that you need to proceed with your education. So if you're going into a film related program, you probably take the film stream. You're going into an animation related program after foundation, you would take the animation stream. So the film stream has courses in cinematography, directing, pre-production, sound design, motion graphics design. The animation stream has 3D animation, has writing and production for comics. That's a really cool course because the students often get to collaborate with students from the writing program. The writing students write some comic book pages, and the animation stream students in foundation draw those pages out. We've seen some incredibly cool work from the artists, and the collaboration is a wonderful experience and one of many experiences you get at VFS to interact with people from other programs and expand your network. There's a classical animation course and motion graphics design. In the design stream, there's motion graphic design, there's layout design, there's programming for games, and project management. In term 6, so throughout term 5, you've been meeting with your mentors and meeting with instructors in those classes, and they've been helping you build your project. When we get to term 6 of the program, you continue to have mentor meetings, but in this term, and there are different milestones for your project, but in this term, you are in control and you have to manage your own time, manage your own deliverables, and keep moving your project forward with only regular check-ins from your mentors and support from the school when you need help. It's a real testament to learning to work independently on your creative work and At the end of the term, we have a couple of screenings. There's a tech screening where you get a final round of feedback, and then we take you to graduation where we show the project to friends, family, whoever you invite. Some of that's on Zoom, some of it's on campus. It's a bit of a mix right now, but it's a great chance for people to see this really great project, and we screen all of the projects at graduation. And then, believe it or not, all of that in 12 months, and you're done. It goes by like a blink of an eye. So, thinking back to where we start, the foundation program is called Foundation because we focus on the foundation. We focus on core, essential skills. So today we're going to do a workshop, and I'm going to introduce in a few minutes, I'm going to introduce one of the instructors from the program who is going to lead this workshop. We're going to do a workshop to help you access and develop your own creativity, because at the core of everything we do in Foundation is the desire to create, the desire to tell stories, the desire to build characters. So today we're going to do some of that together. So to go there, let's first ask ourselves, what is creativity? When we think of creativity, words like these often come to mind. But what I will tell you is these words aren't a definition. They are words used to define and describe product, what creativity produces. But what is actually going on under the hood when it comes to creativity? I was working on drawings a while back. I'm not the best drawer. That's not my core skill, but I pursue drawing and work to get better at drawing because I'm a creative person. And I was sharing my drawings with a friend, and that friend was very complimentary and commented how good my drawings are. And I was being modest and, they're all right. But he stopped to clarify, and he said, being creative is not just being gifted with one talent. It's having the will to expand the mind towards other talents. And so I told him I was going to steal that and put it in this presentation. And I really like to focus on the idea at the end of that, to expand the mind. Expanding the mind towards other talents, absolutely. You always keep growing. But expanding the mind is actually the core of creativity. Creativity is not about what you do. It is about what is possible. It requires you to be open. It is about making choices. So, if creativity is about expanding the mind, being open, making choices, well, what gets in the way? What blocks creativity? Look at these thoughts written on the screen. My ideas are bad. I can't think of anything original. I'm not talented. How many of you have had these thoughts? How many of you have had these thoughts this week? How many of you have had these thoughts today? These thoughts are constant. That's what gets in the way of creativity, these thoughts. But what are these thoughts? They're fear and doubt. But what is it? So fear and doubt, yeah, let's go deeper. When we go deeper, what are we actually afraid of? Are we afraid of being wrong? Absolutely. Nobody wants to be told they're wrong. Nobody wants to be told that's not good enough. So essentially, we're afraid what we do could be considered a mistake, right? So taking all of that, thinking about being open, expanding the mind, thinking about possibilities, what is a trick we can come up with where we can stay creative and stay open without letting fear and doubt get in the way? The biggest trick is to make mistakes and to be okay with it. Exploration is messy. It takes courage and it takes time. Mistakes make space for discovery. Mistakes can sometimes, I like to look at mistakes as the most important part of the process. There's a certain time where mistakes can't be part of the process, but the time when the mistakes can be part of the process is the most important time. That is exploration. That is discovery. They're part of the process. Trust your mistakes. Have confidence that your mistakes are going to result in better product. If you trust the mistakes, you learn to trust the process. And when you learn to trust your process, whatever your process might be as a creative person, you trust yourself. So, to rephrase that in the simplest way possible, when you are in a state of exploration and discovery, which is the state of creativity, always say yes first. Okay? Before saying anything else, before doubt and fear creep in, saying yes gives you permission for your creativity to exist. So, are we ready to say yes? I hope so, because the next thing we're going to do is do an activity. So I want to introduce you all to one of the key instructors in the foundation program. She teaches right from term one. Often students consider her to be their fun, wacky mentor aunt. And she embraces all the students and leads them through learning core graphic design skills, all the way up to mentoring them on game projects and interactive projects and design projects at the end of the program. She taught VFS for a number of years, and she is incredibly creative, does incredible work. And I'm going to stop babbling on about her and let her introduce herself. Ingrid Fraunstein.
Hi, everyone. It's kind of odd. I can't see you all and engage with you all and see faces. I'm so used to seeing faces. But just give me 1 sec. I'm just going to quickly pop up my PowerPoint. Give me a second. I'm just going to go through. I'm just use it so that I can. I have a tendency to go off track and talk about things that I. So let me just do this. So welcome, everyone. So thank you, Tom. As Tom said, I'm an instructor at VFS, but I also have my own sort of brand that I work on, and it's called Popsicle. And it's a little bit of a really crazy, interesting little world. And this is Popsicle, and she was based on my daughter when she was very young. And she runs around in sheep shoes, and the one shoe is called She, and the other one's called Peep. So, and they eat rainbows. So I have an extremely colorful world that I love in, and we're going to play around a little bit today and sort of create that. But what I want to talk to you a little bit about is in sort of the sort of exercise that we're going to do is we are going to be creating mind mappings. We're going to do a mind map today. And mind mapping is sort of the first thing that we do when we think of an idea. So it's an effective way to brainstorm topics around a central theme. So we're going to choose a single theme. And it's also a way to visually organize your thoughts and ideas. So it's pretty much the first step on like, I have an idea. Okay, so, and then you will sit down and you will sort of go through those ideas. And a lot of the time with mind mapping, and the reason that we do this, sometimes we have these really big ideas. And sometimes we realize, oh, wait, that idea is super big. How can we bring that, how can we change the scope a little bit? And sometimes we end up thinking of something that we didn't even think we would, come up with, and like, wow, that's an interesting idea. Maybe we should run with that. So it's just our basic it's just our core of like, how are we going to start? I have this idea, and really just start mapping it on. And it's very, very simple. This is not meant to be. You can go and use applications and apps to create mind maps. I literally will use a pen and paper. Pen and paper is my go-to. And I start thinking of ideas. So I just want to also talk about there is no stupid idea, okay? There is not an idea that's stupid, never. Also, brainstorming is important, and whenever you might have an opportunity to be in a room with some incredible people and brainstorm. Just be aware of how you deal with people and their ideas. Don't say to that person, man, that'll never work, or that's a stupid idea, because out of those ideas, the ideas change the world. Something that's silly and impossible will, come to life. You never know. That's the great thing about ideas. You just never know, you know, if it's actually going to become real. And and that is it. Ideas are important. They change the world. So there's something that we talk about is called blue sky thinking. So today we're going to do a little bit of like blue sky thinking. So there's no rules. There's no rules at all. So whatever you think of, whatever you come up with, then we're going to play around. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to log on with my my iPad, and then I'm going to we're just going to try a very simple exercise first, just to get into the hang of what a mind map is first. But I just want to show you a couple of my characters and sort of how my process usually works. So I have these characters and I like to sort of mimic them on real life, but not quite real life. So I thought of a slide, and then I was like, oh, how would I make a slide? And then I thought about a caterpillar and sort of how a caterpillar moves. And then, there we go. So, I mean, if somebody said to you, why would you make a slide out of a caterpillar? Do you know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense. But when you make it and you put it in its environment, it's kind of like, oh, wow, that's a caterpillar and it's a slide. Okay, yeah, it's a little odd, but you know what? That's pretty cool. Again, I was thinking of a submarine and how I would make a submarine. I was like, okay, well, fish, submarine, water, ocean. And then I was like, oh, why don't I just make a fish, a submarine? I mean, because I can, and that's the way that you need to think. It doesn't have to make sense, but, and this is the whole idea of things. Like if someone, I mean, a lot of these people I go, what is that? And why did you do that? And I'm like, well, because I can, and I love it. And I love imagination. And I like thinking of different things to put together that people will go, oh, wow, that's interesting. It's kind of like a story starter. I kind of like to think as my characters as story starters. Why is that the way it is? And then, the person's own ideas come into mind. Also, remember that your ideas don't necessarily just have to stay on the artboard. So there is my my crocodile, and there he is in real life. So the idea is that you can make anything. It doesn't have to just sit in the digital world. You can print fabrics, you can print 3D characters, you can do anything. And I mean, I think for students, in the next few years, I think it's such an exciting place to be creative. The technology is on your side, to make I always tell my students, it's fantastic. You can make whatever you want. It's wonderful. You can go and make fabric. You can go and make shoes if you wanted to. Someone can print your shoes. So it's a very, very exciting time to be creative. Oh, sorry. And then sort of what I would do is I would draw something, and then sometimes it doesn't quite come out as the drawing, because sometimes when I draw something and then I'm in a digital world, it will change ever so slightly. So, and also coloring. Sometimes I use colors that really don't match, and then sometimes I use colors that really do match. So it's really just about really being super creative and just kind of running with it, and not being afraid to try things. And, even if you're at home and doing things and you show somebody, don't be afraid to show people. A lot of people are, a lot of people feel the same as you. And sometimes it's encouraging, to have somebody have a look at your work and go, oh, wow, that's beautiful. Because it helps you to build your confidence. All right, so what we're going to do quickly is I'm just going to jump out of this. I'm going to just grab my, I'm just going to go and grab my Zoom. And then I have to share my content here. Share screen here. So I should be, is my screen, okay, let's stop that share. Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out where my screen went to. Oh, hang on. Give me 1 second. It's just my tech situation happening here. All right, so I'm going to share my content on here. Sorry, as you know, I talk while I'm doing things, which, alrighty. So are we sharing screen? Yeah, it's going to Procreate. Of course, everything works when, there we go. Let's go, that should be sharing.
It says it's sharing, but it also just isn't showing the iPad.
That's kind of weird.
Yeah. So maybe unshare and share again. Maybe.
So stop share. Yep. Oh, there we go. We're back. Okay, there it is. There share screen. Good thing you didn't get a look up my nose. Sorry.
All right. Try sharing one more time.
There we go. Oh, good job. Okay, let's go to Procreate. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're just going to do a really simple mind map. We're going to do a really simple mind map. So we're going to do a mind map based on a party. So you're all going to tell me our core, which is just do this. So our core is going to be a party. So how would we mind map this party? So I actually want to do it. We've got 5 minutes to do this. I'm going to do this. We're going to do a little bit of because we have another, we're actually going to go into the real assignment. I just want us to just practice. So we've got 5 minutes and I want us to mind map a party. So tell me, what am I doing? You have to send me some things in the chat. So if I'm mind mapping this party, what am I doing? So I'm going to have certain things that are going to sort of go off here. What are the things that we have to think about?
Perfect. So someone wrote disco ball. Great. Julia wrote disco ball. That's great. Also, pinata.
What else? Oh, how do I spell that?
Pinata. Oh, someone says cake. Yes. Can't be a party without cake.
Oh, okay.
And a snack table. Great.
Okay, so we're going to go snack.
Music. I've been to a party without music before. It wasn't a party. Connecting. Yes, that's, really smart. What is a point of a party? What needs to happen at a party? Connecting people. That's fantastic. Decorations, dancing. We're on a roll now. People
it's too many words.
Yeah. So connecting. Yeah, you got it.
Okay,
dancing.
I've got connecting. I've got dancing. Wait, I've got to
decorations. Yeah.
Okay, decorations.
Yeah, and then
so I'm going to put those here.
Friends is important.
Okay, so let's just take food. That's a good one.
Food, yeah.
Okay, so say now we have these core things. Okay, then we're going to go and have a look at these. So if I look at party, okay, so I have food, I have dancing, I have connecting, I've got my snack table, my disco ball, my piñata, my cake. There's a couple of things that we need to also think about. So we need to think about, one, we'll have to think about invitations. Okay. Then what we're going to do underneath this, do I want to print them? Do I want them digital? Do I want them to, what kind of party is it going to be? Do I want a theme? So what happens with our mind map is we go deeper and deeper and deeper into things. So we have some core elements here. Snack table. Okay, what am I having on my snack table? So the idea of a mind map is that we take our ideas and then we start splitting them up. So if I'm going to be connecting, what does connecting mean? Does that mean I'm going to have are we going to have games? So, would I want games? Then it's like, what kind of games would I want? We can
social games, right?
Yeah.
So you want social games. You want silly, so people let their guard down. You start thinking of things like that, right?
Yeah. And then we also have to think about, what about a location where we're going to have it? So where is that party going to happen? So
is it a pool party? Are you going to have it at a swimming pool? Is it going to be at a restaurant? Budget? Daryl threw out exactly. So then you got to figure out budget. Good. There's a big one. That's another section, right?
That
Let's
is possibly
what?
going to change all of this.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So this is why. So if we go, okay, so we have our invitations, we have our budget, we have our location, and then if we're going to be dancing, like, do we need a DJ? So do we need a DJ? Then we start sort of like slowly but surely sort of going in. So the idea is that everything starts branching out. So music, okay, what kind of music do you want? Do you want disco music, 70s? Are we going into the 80s, 90s? So what are we doing with that? So there's a question mark there. So out of all of this, then you can actually sort of streamline your idea. So we're streamlining a little bit. So we might end up having a party. We're going to have a 70s, maybe disco party. We'll have a DJ. I'm going to create some fantastic 70s invites that I'm going to email to friends as opposed to printing, because my budget is a bit of an issue. So this is how we can take an idea and really start fine-tuning what we want. We're not stifling our creativity. We're just kind of like putting everything out there. What is it that I want to do? Okay. So, wow, that was perfect. That's almost 5 minutes, which was my goal. Okay. So what we're going to do now is I'm just going to quickly pop back. I'm just popping back for a second. So I'm just going to go in here. So we just have to stop share. Sorry, I'm going to have to just stop that for a second because I'm going to share here.
So while she gets set up, I want you, again, the next activity is you're going to drive it. So we want you to be ready to throw things in the chat, and we're going to work with what you throw at us. Okay. And the big thing is is that right, Ingrid? That's what we're doing next?
Yeah.
And just remember, we're saying yes to everything. Everything. We're going to practice saying yes to the ideas that are inside of us. So no matter what you think of, the only thing you're doing wrong is when you're not sharing it with us. So if you think of something and it's way out there, who cares? Throw it on the list. We'll figure out in the mind mapping process. You don't say no, you say yes. You try to make it fit into the map somewhere. And because even if later when you go back and you go, that doesn't fit the budget for the party, for instance, you're like, okay, that doesn't fit the budget. But the idea of it might inspire something else. So you're like, okay, we can't afford a float driving down we can't afford a parade, but maybe the cake is themed like a parade. So you don't have a full parade, you have a parade float, right?
It just gets bigger and bigger, and then you kind of like, oh, we can do this way, or we can do it this way. So what we're going to do now is this is the one where you are going to engage, and we are going to come up with some, and I'm going to try and sketch what you think of. So we're going to be using an umbrella. Okay, so an umbrella is our sort of example, and this umbrella, this one here, the duck. One of my students was walking to school and she had that umbrella in her backpack. And as I watched her walk past her, the duck was literally tapping her back as it was. I wish I had had my phone with me. It was hysterical. And so that kind of just that action gave me an idea of this really cute little. So I want us to look at an umbrella. Again, there are no limits here. I want us to look at an umbrella and think about, okay, so how could we let's just go. Things to consider. First of all, when you are thinking of something, so say something, it's an umbrella, okay? What does an umbrella do? So tell me, what does an umbrella do? Oh, does anyone make any comments? I can't see.
Go ahead and type in chat. So what is it? Protects against, perfect, Lenya. Protects against the element, protects you from the rain. So your umbrella is your protector. Absolutely. That is a great word.
So what are the physical characteristics of an umbrella? So I want you to think about the physical characteristics. I want you to think about fabrics and patterns and what an umbrella could potentially be made of. How do you feel using it? Like, what does it do? And then even if an umbrella had an emotion, what would it be? So we're going to just take an umbrella and we're going to sort of mind map these things. Okay. So I'm going to go back out of here. Sorry. And then I'm going to just quickly stop my share. Just go pop it back into. Okay, I'm gonna go back in here. Screen. Stop broadcast.
Right. So hopefully, and while we're doing this as a group, why don't you, if you have a pen and paper nearby or a pencil or a Sharpie or whatever you use, make notes for yourself. Scribble on the page.
Yes.
It helps stimulate.
Yes.
So as much as Ingrid's going to be doing the heavy lifting here with the on the page, you can do it yourself because you may want to look back at this later. One thing as creative people is we don't throw things away. We keep them and we save them for later because our ideas are our talent. Our ideas are our gold. Great. Someone's rolling already. Fabric extended over thin metal frame that kind of looks like legs. Oh, I like that.
That kind of reminds me of like creating, like almost creating a spider. Do you know what I mean? Like these little spider legs that go out like that.
Thin.
Okay, wait. So I'm just going spider.
Thin metal frame and metal legs. So you got this idea. That's great. So we're working on this idea of like thin legs. What's also really compelling to me about umbrellas is they have two states. They have a skinny state and a kind of plump round state.
We also had protection.
That was a great word.
Then we had sort of spider.
Yeah. And somebody, when we were talking, somebody also wrote drapes around over you like a bubble. It is. It kind of creates like a personal bubble. That's really cool. I love that idea. That visual is fantastic.
It's almost like an astronaut. Okay, so you would kind of have this umbrella that would be like a really kind of.
Helena, I'm sorry if I said that close to right. Or Helene, I saw it earlier. Great suggestion. A sword when closed, a shield when open.
Oh, sword.
Helene, thank you, Helene.
Sword when closed. Okay, sword when closed and
a shield when open.
That is cool.
That is cool. We've seen umbrellas as swords many times, but I've never that idea of it being both the sword and the shield. So cool. A jellyfish umbrella, yes.
Love that one. I love the sword. Wait, there's too many things. Jellyfish. Wait, I have jellyfish. We'll just take a jellyfish.
She's not going to keep up with all your ideas, so I hope you guys are drawing some of your ideas too. And try drawing them. Don't just write words. Try drawing them. Make it visual if you can. Don't worry if anyone's going to judge it. Just do it.
Okay, and then we said jellyfish.
Yeah, jellyfish. Right.
Okay, so we have open. So let's just look at this quickly. So we have something that is open and something that is closed. What about we have a jellyfish umbrella, which will be fantastic. What else? So
Julia says a great big webbed hand. So like when it's open, it's like a big webbed hand, like webbing like ducks, like between the fingers. I think that's what you mean by webbed. And I think that's really cool. And you're right. Some umbrellas have that because they have spikes and then it kind of curves between each spike like webbed fingers. Yeah. So it is like giant webbed fingers. That's really cool.
Okay. I'm just doing this to remind myself that it's a web.
Right. And so the thing is, again, right now, one of the things that's happening is Ingrid's drawing. She's not judging her drawing.
Not very well.
She's not worried about if it's good or bad. She's like, I'm just drawing this right now to remind me
these are just
later.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the process. Okay. Makes me think of large leaves that you would find in a rainforest. You know, you're right. Those giant leaves. Well, when you come to Vancouver, you're going to see some of those giant leaves in Stanley Park. We have a boreal rainforest here, and there's some plants with these huge leaves. So leaves like that, totally. An umbrella made out of those leaves would be just fantastic, right? Great work, everybody. Keep the ideas coming. And hopefully you're making sketches and writing things down for yourselves too and coming up with some cool ideas that you you think are so great you don't even want to share with them because you're afraid we'll steal them, which we
So
won't.
also let's think about like the handle. So let's think about the one is rain. So one is protection. So this, I'm not sure who said bubble, but I had this idea instead of the rain being a raindrop like this, the raindrops are actually umbrella bubbles. So they look like little umbrella bubbles when they fall.
So there's tiny little umbrella bubbles falling. That's really cute. So they have like a handle and a hook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a helicopter.
Yeah.
Helicopter.
Spin the umbrella fast enough, it takes off like a helicopter. Yes. That's really cool.
Yeah, so it kind of is. I'm just doing this really badly, but I don't really care. It's like an umbrella, but it's kind of got the tail and then the propeller at the top kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And then you could have a handle there.
I think we're going to do, actually, I think we'll do one more minute. So let's see if we can get one or two more ideas. And then we have to wrap this up because there's a few more things. And then we want some time for question and answer about the school and the program. Handle made of bamboo. Yes.
Oh, that's
but water
fantastic.
Can pass through. Oh, and it could use it as a breathing straw, almost like a scuba. It's like a scuba umbrella.
I don't want this to end. I don't want to end.
I know. There's so much we could do just from that idea. There's so much to explore of just like putting this thing underwater. So
okay, yeah. Oh, sorry, Tom, go first.
Oh, I was just going to say, so see, by saying yes to your ideas and by us saying yes to your ideas and people getting excited about your ideas, I hope you are realizing how creative you are as an individual, because the ideas are inside us. We just have to give them permission to come out. We have to give ourselves permission to do things that don't necessarily make sense, because we can make sense of it later, right? There's a space where you have to just discover and explore. And when we were kids, we were brilliant at it. As we get older, we start to become afraid, and that fear gets in our way. So saying yes and discovering and exploring is your key to unlocking your creativity. Ingrid, you were going to say?
I'm just going to say one thing. Also, it doesn't look pretty, but it's not supposed to look pretty. The product is supposed to look, the final thing is the thing that's supposed to look pretty. Mm-hmm. This is a mishmash of ideas. So I'm just going to stop this for a second, and then I'm just going to end quickly with one thing, and then I'll be 2 minutes, and then we are good to go. Mm-hmm. So this is what I had done earlier on. This is what I had done for a character. I thought, okay, I'm going to do an umbrella. I actually had jellyfish on there. And then I thought of like a monkey octopus anyway. So I kind of started drawing something, and I sort of came up with, I'll be quick. I came up with this. It's kind of like, I haven't colored it very well, but it doesn't matter. It was just an idea. So I thought of this jellyfish, an octopus that was an umbrella. So yeah, the end result is the thing that you're looking for. The exploration is the fun part. And then the only thing that I'll end with is like, nobody's seen these yet. So you're the first to see these are all my characters that are going to be put up on Instagram. So each tile will go up, and this is my happy holidays for the end of the year. All my crazy little fantastically beautiful creatures that have fallen out of my head. So there we go. So I'm done. So thank you. That was really fun. Thank you.
That was really fun. Awesome. So I'm going to go back to sharing my screen. Where is Zoom? Awesome. And we're going to finish this presentation off very quickly. 1 second, just tell you a little bit more about the school, and then we'll get to your questions. If you have questions about VFS or the program, now is the time to pop them into the chat if you have not done so already. 1 second. Okay. So pop your questions into the Q&A section, and we will get to answering those questions right after this. So now that you have learned to say yes, if you are looking to go to school, if you are looking to continue exploring your creativity, here's a quick list of things you can do. Make a list of the things and people that inspire you. Maybe Ingrid's going to make it on that list. That was pretty inspirational. List your skills that you want to develop and work on. Having a list of the things you want to get better at gives us goals. Practice to grow, but also practice for fun. It's equally important to draw and do whatever you're into creatively just for the fun of it sometimes. Just, jot things down, explore, scribble, whatever. Just play. Playing, we discover so much when we play. Don't throw away mistakes. Don't rip up pages of your sketchbook and throw them in the recycle. It's really important to keep your sketchbooks. It's amazing how often I go back to things that I've created in the past just as a starting off point for something new. Be curious about process and about life. I think it's really important to be curious about process. Learning and talking to other creative people about how they create can sometimes open doors into new ways for you to grow your creative skills. Okay, so Vancouver Film School, 1-year production-based models. It's very different than universities and other schools. We get you hands-on and get you through it quickly. It's often equal to 3 or 4 years at other institutions. We just get you out there working faster. If you're doing foundation, you might be doing 2 years at VFS. That would have been 4 years at another school. Connected culture, creative collaboration. I mentioned before that our students work with other students in other programs. This is part of the culture of Vancouver Film School. We are a film school, and we also integrate industry tools, and we're using, during the pandemic, we were using more digital tools than ever to keep students connected while they studied from home. But we're not online anymore. We're on campus. And being on campus and having our classes on campus means our students are back in the 8 campuses that feature more than 250,000 square feet of studio and facility space. And those campuses happen to be, for the most part, right downtown in Vancouver. In fact, they're right near the bottom part of this screen. You can't quite see them, but they're there in that neighborhood, which is close to downtown Vancouver, close to the stadiums, close to the ocean. It's a really beautiful place and easily accessed from the rest of the city. At VFS, we have 3 different schools of courses. There's the School of Film and Television, Animation, Visual Effects, and Games and Creative Design. School of Film and Television has the film program, the writing for film and television program and games, acting for film and television, makeup design for film and television, and sound for visual media. The animation programs are classical animation, animation concept art, 3D animation, and there's a new creature. Michelle, can you put that in the chat? I forgot what it's called. Creature animation. I feel like I'm saying the word slightly wrong. Very cool program specifically about creature design. And then the School of Games and Creative Design includes a game design program, programming for games, web and mobile, and VR, AR design and development, which is relatively new and also actually has a pathway program or a partnership program with another school. Coming to VFS, you are not only coming here to get an education, but you are actually looking towards the future, building your first step towards being part of the incredible VFS alumni network. Because not only are you connecting with other people who are going to be at the school, but you are connecting with people who are going to be alumni, working creatively around the world after they graduate. And when you look at this slide right here, you see VFS students work at some of the coolest companies and very recognizable companies, but also VFS grads have started some pretty incredible companies too, like Hootsuite and The Third Floor. If you stay for the credits in Marvel movies, and most of us do, you might recognize the word The Third Floor before. They're responsible for all the visualization for every Marvel movie, and they were founded by VFS grads. These are some of the accolades that VFS graduates and the projects that they made at VFS get. So just recently in this week, the head of the school was saying that one of our animation projects just got accepted into 11 festivals. 11 festivals for one project. But also the school is recognized, not just the projects, but the school is recognized because the projects are recognized, because the students are recognized for what they do. So we have pathway programs as well. For some of you may really want to look and really want to attend a school like VFS where it's hands-on production-based learning, but you might also imagine that having a degree of some sort would also be beneficial. VFS is diploma programs, but we're partnered with other institutions where the combination of the diploma with us and a degree with another institution could make for what you want for your career, but also for students looking to maybe stay in Canada after they finish their education. That additional institution can be the thing that helps you get the post-graduation work permit that you need. Also, you don't have to wait to do a full year at VFS. If you want to try us out, we have a couple of really cool opportunities coming up in 2022 where you could come and give us a try. In March, we have high school camps, 2-day camps for many of the programs where you can come in and be led by instructors and build projects in 2 days. In the summer, we do full weeks, so 5-day intensives. You come in, you come to campus, you would be interacting with instructors like Ingrid and other instructors in foundation, but there's intensives for many of the programs in the school. It's a chance to kind of like give us a test drive or just come and explore your creativity and make something in a week and meet some really cool people and work with some really cool students on some really cool stuff. There's also something called Connect. Connect is year-round. VFS is offering online short track workshops and certificate courses. There's a few available in the new year. And I believe, if I understand correctly, Michelle is going to post something in the chat about 20% off promotion. So Connect is a chance to actually, if you're not in Vancouver, and I know some of you are, but many of you aren't, it's a chance to try taking a course with VFS and work on expanding your creativity and developing some skills through us online right away. If you register, I believe if you register by December 25th, there's a promo code in the chat that you can get 20% off. Now, VFS has a huge YouTube channel, over 200, almost 250,000 subscribers. I have a feeling that number's out of date. It could even be more than 250,000 subscribers at this point. I haven't checked in the last few days. Bigger than all of our other schools, all of our competing schools combined. But the big reason why I'm mentioning YouTube is I encourage you to check it out because it is a great place for inspiration. Seeing the incredible work that foundation students and students from all of the other programs at VFS do is not only inspirational to you for your education, but just inspirational for you in terms of what it's like to be a storyteller, what is possible as a storyteller in a very short period of time. Most importantly, we want you to connect with our admissions advisors. We're going to answer your questions in a minute or two when I wrap up this presentation. We're going to start answering some of your questions, but you're going to have many more questions. You're going to have questions about the programs, what program's best for you, questions about what you need for a portfolio for some parts of the school, how does it work financially with the school, and even what kind of short workshops or other things could you sign up for to explore your creativity and figure out what's right for you. We have an admissions advisor, Daryl Chin, here with us today. He's here to start answering some of your questions, but the biggest thing is connecting with our admissions advisors and building a relationship with the school that way to help us guide you as you select a program of study. Okay, that is it. That's it for me talking. And now we are ready for your questions.
Great. Thank you so much, Tom, and thank you, Ingrid, for that workshop. That was fantastic. And thanks everyone for submitting. We have a few questions so far, so we'll get started with those, but feel free to keep adding questions to the Q&A and I'll read those out loud on your behalf. So the first question here is from Jameson, and he says, if you know you want to go into a specific program like animation, but don't know which stream of animation, is it beneficial to take the foundation program?
So you're not saying deciding between 3 programs of animation. You're saying, for instance, you want to do 3D animation and you're trying to decide between the 3 streams that program ends with, like modeling or animation or visual effects. Is that correct? And if it is, then foundation wouldn't be required for you, because unless you don't have a portfolio yet. So the question, if you qualify for the 3D animation program, you could bounce right in, because that program will help you decide and expose you to the different aspects of the industry about those 3 streams. If you're not sure if you want concept art versus classical animation versus 3D animation, or you don't have a portfolio, foundation is a great place to start, and we will guide you and help you make those decisions. Did I answer that right, Daryl?
Yeah, well said. So what's answer it as well. But yeah, definitely. And yeah, even if you don't really want to go through foundation, if you speak with an admissions advisor like myself, I'll be able to kind of help you, guide you through those areas. But well said. Yeah, if you're going to go into, say, 3D animation and visual effects, it would be for animation or character modeling or visual effects work. If you're going to go into, say, classical animation, then you're looking more towards essentially traditional 2D animation. Maybe even working with like Maya and Toon Boom Harmony to kind of create that. As well. And if you're going to animation concept art, it would be more towards essentially concept art, right? Where you're going to be essentially working on essentially like a character basis and being able to do digital illustration and digital art and creative storyboarding, right? And those kind of things. So definitely speak with an advisor. We'll definitely help you to let you know if you should get into foundation or not before going into one of those 3 streams, or just going directly into the 3 streams in one of those 3 animation programs. We'll be able to help you out with that. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. I just added a link to connect with an advisor to the chat. Okay, so the next question is foundation program happening online, or is it in person? So that's one of this question.
Yeah.
Is it online?
Barbara, that's a great question. And I can definitely answer that question. We are happening on campus. There are only a very select few things that are happening online come the new year. There's one thing because of the importance of online in these industries now, we have done things like we are making one of the pitches that students have to do into a required online pitch. So we're training them and getting them ready for online pitching. But when we're online, it is going to largely be because of it being a very modern, new required skill to be able to navigate online. However, we are in the classroom every day, and it's great. It's so great to be back. And it's so great to feel each other's energy, and for the students to feed off of each other creatively. As for scholarships, Daryl, I'm going to throw that one at you.
It's a good question. And yeah, we currently just wrapped up the Kevin Smith Scholarship, and right now we're looking towards winners for that sometime by early December. The Kevin Smith Scholarship is generally for Canadian students and also for US residents, not for international. However, we do have other essential scholarships that will come up along the way from time to time. So the best place to go to would be vfs.edu and sign up for VFS Premier for upcoming information in regards to scholarships, and just check our website vfs.edu as well to kind of find out scholarships information essentially on the click down box. ABCDE as well, I guess will complete as of December 15 for the acting students as well. And even if you don't get any scholarships that are currently available, we do have tuition reduction that you can speak with your admissions advisor about. With the tuition reductions, it might be a percentage off on the cost for school. So maybe even like 10% off or 15% off on the tuition, or even just partial scholarships. There's always generally one for like a full ride scholarship or two. And then we'd also do these like percentage of scholarships of like 30% off and those kind of things as well, right? But yeah, it really depends on time of year that you're looking towards coming into the program, the amount of funds we have available in the well, okay, and also the strength of your application when you're submitting it, and providing the information that we do require from the scholarship that we are like providing to you as well. Okay, but definitely check our website for it, and I guess March or April, and Michelle Heavy would be the best one to kind of know essentially when things are upcoming and those kind of things. But yeah, generally March or April, and throughout the year, you'll be able to actually get more information.
Is there a way for people to sign up to get that kind of information? Or is it just best for them to check the website?
Yeah, on the website, you'll be able to actually sign up for it. And if you go to like essentially scholarships within there, you can actually sign up your name and information. And a coordinator will also contact you before essentially speaking with an advisor to kind of let you know if there's things that are available as well.
Great.
Yeah, so through also our social media, we'll announce any scholarships through there. So again, I'll just add the links. And then if you sign up for VFS Premier, you'll find that information before anyone else.
And Barbara, I can't remember if you were in Brazil or not. Somebody was in Brazil, but there was just recently a Latin American scholarship even for foundation students. So there are regional scholarships as well.
Okay. The next question here, is there an age limit for summer intensives or the creative break and the camp in March? And are those in person or virtual, and what are the prices? Daryl, would you be able to?
Yeah, so before in the past, we used to have essentially not an age limit. Now we kind of do have them, essentially maybe within the age of 17 or 18 that a student should attend the camp. Okay, but yeah, I mean, there's definitely for summer, there's also for springtime as well, and workshops and those kind of things. It's really just like a 1 week kind of like just a 1 week snippet into kind of finding out what the 1 year program would be like if you were to enter it into it as well. There's also limited seating as well. So if you're looking towards essentially doing that, then definitely go on to vfs.edu and definitely sign up essentially for that. The prices will vary. In the past, we've had, the cost for the summer intensives programs to be like about 850 Canadian dollars. Sometimes a little bit lower than that. And it also depends on the course that you'd be taking as well for summer intensives. Okay, but yeah, definitely take a look into it as well. And I guess you'll get more summer intensive information sometimes, by March or by February or March of next year. That'll post up on our website as well.
Yeah, and we are planning. Things are always changing. Things are very dynamic. But for the one in March, we are currently planning for it to be on campus with potential for online if things get wacky. But we're really hoping and excited to be having people come together for the creative break sessions in March.
Okay, great. The next question is about portfolio reviews. So how quickly is a portfolio reviewed? Due to like a lot of the program spots fill up quickly, courses fill up.
Okay, so good question, Jameson. You asked a lot of nice, good questions. Generally, when we receive your application and you've spoke directly with a coordinator to book time to meet up with somebody like myself or another admissions advisor, we'll essentially let you know what you would require for the portfolio and also if the program is the right fit. Once we do get everything, including your application and all the supporting documents, okay, you could even find out as early as even say 2 or 3 days after in regards to your application status. Okay, so the quicker and sooner you're able to actually provide your portfolio and the references check out and those kind of things, we can let you know back in like 2 or 3 days. They generally fill up a lot really quickly as well. Right now for the film production program, we are currently on a wait list up until February, but every once in a while we'll have stops that kind of open up like in January, February, and so on. And we would let students know that are on the wait list for that as well. Okay, but yeah, I mean, if it's something like film production, you probably should speak with admissions advisor like tomorrow and so on, and just kind of
Yeah.
find out if you are a good fit for the program, as well.
I'm just going to add a question that was in the chat that's similar, which was from Mansi, which was just also asking about for portfolios, are international students, what else do they have to have? What other documents do they have to have? Also language requirements.
Yeah, it's a good question too. And I guess we could add that to the portfolio, because within that as well, we do require ESL, or English as a second language. So if you've ever done IELTS or TOEFL or ILAC or TOEIC, we do require that as your English requirement in order to get into the school as well. All right. For a lot of students, though, they don't have that. And if you're not from an English speaking country, we do require it. So you can also do a test called Duolingo at www.duolingo.com. It'll test you on your English, your speaking, your comprehension, and your written. And it's like an hour test, but you need to have a webcam there. And if you're able to actually pass the test with a score of 105 or more, then you'll be able to kind of pass it, and that would satisfy your English requirement. In addition,
we also have an English for Creative Arts program at the school, where if your language requirements aren't quite where they need to be for the other programs at VFS, we have something that'll bring you up about like 1 point in IELTS score. So if you're at 5.0, we can get you to like a 6.0 or 6.5 over 4 months. So it's a 4-month program to get your language, but it's cool because it's not your standard English language training. It's entirely creative focused, and it's modeled after and talks about the game industry, talks about animation, talks about filmmaking, photography. So as a creative person, our students are way more inspired to do the work because they're practicing communicating their ideas using industry terminology while working on their English.
Very good. And I can add the link to that program as well. So there's one more question here from Jameson, and he's saying, if you choose to not take the foundation program, is there higher expectation for the portfolio if you apply to a specialized course?
Yeah. So the great thing about foundation is you don't need a portfolio at all. So there's the difference. Foundation, I always say no portfolio, no problem. All of the other programs have portfolio requirements.
Yeah, correct. In regards to higher expectations as well, we will review it through the admissions committee to find out, if you are essentially a good fit to go directly into like the second year program that you want to get into as well. Essentially with the portfolio, really, it's really about your creativity and essentially the work that you provide to us as well. So if it's for animation, we do require like, life drawings and abstract and still life and those type of drawings, and maybe even computer drawings as well, right? That we'll be able to review. But it's really about your creativity. The same thing goes with like film production or like writing for film and television as well. The portfolios that we do look at as well, need to kind of show that your ability to tell a story, and those kind of things, right? So, basically don't really think too hard, essentially about your portfolio. But Tom is right. Like if you go through the Foundation Visual Art and Design program, there is no portfolio because you're basically going to be creating a portfolio by the end of that program to use into your second year.
There's another question here related to portfolio. So is there a specific format that the portfolio needs to be in?
Depends what program that you're getting into. But I mean, essentially for animation, for all three of them, really, we do require like a combination of 12 pieces of life, still, character, abstract, and or computer drawings. Okay, those are for animation concept art and for classical animation. If it is for 3D animation and visual effects, then we do require maybe a 3D reel that you put together. Nothing like overly complicated. It could be done like in Blender or any 3D animation software. It doesn't even have to be long. It could even be like, say, 10 seconds long for us to view. Okay, for film production, you could use essay formats for it. If you're doing it for writing for film and television, essay formats or dialogue formats. Game design, essay and some art.
I'm going to say something nice about Daryl here. So you can find the portfolio requirements per program on the website. It's easy. They're listed. You just have to find it on that program page. But the most important thing is to know that the admissions advisors are not horrible, scary people who are there to judge your portfolio and reject you and say you're the worst, most uncreative person ever. No school would want you. Instead, they are there to see what you put together and help you finish the package. So if you have most of the pieces of a portfolio, if you feel like, oh, I think my portfolio is kind of here, but I'm not sure, that's not a moment. Remember, we learned to say yes today. Say yes, submit it. If something's missing, Daryl's going to be like, hey, I need to see just a little bit more from you. I need to see this. I need to see that. And then we will help you get in. So it doesn't have to be, remember about being not afraid to make mistakes. Take that into even applying for the school. Okay. And Daryl's super friendly, as you've discovered today. And he talks fast, but he listens too. and he is totally there to help you and support you. And ultimately what he wants to do is also make sure not just that you get into the program, but you get into the right program. So he's going to ask questions and look at what you've shown him and figure out, is this the right journey? Is this the right path? And help you make the right decisions about your education. That's why they're called advisors and not judges. They're not the admissions judges. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll add on to that as well. I've had students that have been rejected before from a portfolio that we've done, and we've gone back to them to let them know how they can actually essentially fix it. And they've gone back and they said, okay, now it's been approved or not. And then we also have students that, they're not sure what to do, and we kind of help them alongside with it as well. So Tom is right in terms of that. We will help you through it a couple of times. If by that the next part it doesn't come through the way how we see it, then we'll let you know, right? And then we can kind of just we just go from there. But
but then that's because you're not ready for the rigor and intensity of the program. And it's because we don't want to set you up to fail. We want to set you up for success. So we'll talk to you about things like foundation and other things that you can do to be ready so that you can enter the program and chase your dream. We want to see you achieve your dreams. We want to help you launch a successful career. But part of launching a successful career is being ready when you start.
And I think even just getting in touch with advisors sooner rather than later. So just start that conversation now, and then it'll just help you progress. And even for wait lists and whatnot, I want to get in touch sooner and get connected with VFS. Through whether it's social media or just signing up for VFS Premier. So I know we've gone quite a bit over. This session is being recorded. So we've covered a lot of information. So if anyone would like the recording, you can just send me an email. I added it to the chat earlier, but it's eventinfo@vfs.com. And I can send you the recording if you want to share it with a parent or a friend or anyone. Just send me an email and then I'll send that to you. And I also just want to mention there is Vancouver Film School offers online industry talks. So we have events regularly. They're totally free. And we actually have one on right now. It's from 5 to 6 p.m. And it's with a freelance, a graphic designer who's worked on Spider-Man and the huge movies. I'm just
Robin Hutto. She's fantastic. I love her. She was a student in digital design. She was a student in digital design when I was a program manager for digital design.
Yeah, same.
17. You were there too. Yeah.
Yeah, so I taught her, and I actually messaged her.
Brilliant as a student, and she's brilliant now.
Fantastic person.
Jump over to that if you can and check it out, because she's also a great public speaker. I think we're wrapping up.
Yes. Yeah. So I just added the link to the chat. That's where I'll be heading right after this as well. So hopefully we see more people there.
Yeah. Awesome. I just want to say thank you to Ingrid for giving us a sneak preview of her festive holiday characters. And
it's a pleasure.
Leading us through what I hope was a beneficial, fun process for everybody that left everybody looking at umbrellas differently. And with that, I just want to remind you all to say yes to your ideas, give yourself permission to be creative, make a ton of mistakes, because that's where the good stuff happens. And I really hope we get to see you and see your faces and recognize your names when you maybe sign up and join us as students.
Great. Thank you. Thanks, Tom, Daryl, Ingrid. Thanks, everyone, for joining us today.